Today we're going to show how we can deploy services using Juju, the Ubuntu service deployment and orchestration tool, on a PowerPC 64-bit Little Endian system. So we have a shell script here that we can use to kick off this initial deployment, and we'll switch back to the Juju canvas, and what you'll see is immediately services begin to deploy. These are the same services that you can run on public clouds or x86 systems, but in this case running on Power. So for an example here, we have a SugarCRM system set up with HA proxy backed by MariaDB. We have a WebSphere running an example application, which we'll show in a moment, and a Hadoop cluster, which we can monitor with Ganglia, and we'll run TerraSort on that once that is up and running to demonstrate both that Hadoop is working and that Ganglia is properly managing and monitoring the system. Now you can see that a couple of these services have already turned from yellow to green. This indicates that those particular services are already deployed, up and running, and ready to go. So we already have Memcached and HA proxy ready for our SugarCRM stack. And the other services are currently deploying and will be up in just a moment. While we're waiting for these services to finish deploying, let's talk a little bit about what Juju itself is. As I mentioned before, Juju is an orchestration tool, so it's for deploying, scaling, managing services throughout the entire life cycle. You can see this canvas. You can drag and drop or script deployments of services. Each one of these boxes represents an individual service, and we'll see in a few moments, once the services are finished deploying, that they will get connected to one another. So Juju also manages the relationships between individual services. Each one of these blocks is what we call a charm, and it's like a package of software for the cloud. There are hundreds of them already, because it's really easy to charm software, which automates all of the procedures you need to run the software on any cloud at any scale. All of these charms are available for Power. Juju is ported to Power, and the charms are coming along too. So everything you can do on the cloud with Ubuntu, you can do on Power as well. And that's what we're demonstrating right now. Companies choose Ubuntu because our focus is on scale out, horizontal scaling for very high volume systems. We're leaner and more cost-effective at scale than traditional enterprise Linux, which is why Google makes a lot of use of Ubuntu, as well as telcos, banks, and media companies now doing the same. These orchestration tools, together with Ubuntu, allow every company to operate as efficiently as Google on the cloud or on bare metal. Now that these services are all fully deployed, we'll start building relationships between them, which are indicated by these green lines. Each one of those is a way for the services to talk to one another, do all of the configuration that needs to happen behind the scenes for, in this case, for example, for Sugar to talk to all of these supporting services. And we can take a look at Sugar to demonstrate that it is up and running. So we'll just go to the IP address that the SugarCRM system is installed on, get a login screen, put in our credentials, and these credentials were configured as part of that deployment process. And you can see that we have a fully working SugarCRM system. I can click around in the various tabs. All of the bits of Sugar are up and running and fully functional, ready to go, deployed on a Power system. So we can also look at some of the other services that we've deployed. For example, WebSphere. We could do the same thing. We'll just open that up and look at the currently running unit for that. Go to its IP address, and you can see we have a fully functional WebSphere application server ready to go. There's an example application deployed on this of a pet store, so if we add that to the URL, we can see the example application and prove that everything is up and working and fully functional on WebSphere, again, running on POWER8 on Ubuntu. Everything is ready to go to deploy a real application on here. Finally, let's kick off TerraSort for Hadoop. We are monitoring that with Ganglia, so what we will need to do is we'll get Ganglia ready to go here, kick off TerraSort so there's actually something to look at in the Ganglia display. And we can also, we can actually open up Hadoop and take a look at that just to prove that Hadoop is up and running here in this deployment. So again, we'll just go to the IP address of the Hadoop system that we've deployed, add in the proper port, and we have the Hadoop administration. So Hadoop is running here again on a Power8 system on Ubuntu. We have TerraSort up and running. So if we come back to Juju and switch to the Ganglia service, what we will be able to see, I'll just grab the IP address of that, is that Ganglia is monitoring this service, and that we are actually doing real work on this machine on Power8. So Hadoop is actually crunching numbers here and producing useful results. So there we have a slew of services running on Power8 on Ubuntu, deployed in about 5 minutes using Juju. Thank you very much.